Most business playbooks fail, not because you don't care, but because what you call a playbook or your operations manual is really a digital junk drawer. And that right there is the difference between your business scaling and your business bleeding time. Now, here today, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to actually build an operating playbook, a system that your team will use to run your business without needing you for every single answer to every single question that they have. Let's dive in. Now, before we build anything, gotta clean up that junk drawer. This is the fastest win and the biggest unlock. Here's how you do it. First and foremost, I want you to open wherever your files are. So Google Drive, Dropbox, and take a look for anything that a new hire wouldn't understand. So we want to look through the lens of someone new that's joining the organization. Now, if it feels confusing to you, imagine how your new hire or the rest of your team feels. Now, the next thing is to create one new folder called Playbook, or it could be operations manual, or it could be business system, whatever you want to call it. But this is going to become your home base because everything is eventually going to connect back to this. Now, every outdated document that you have, you're going to pop that into an archive folder. If it's more than 12 months old and you're not using it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, time to archive it. Next thing you're going to do is start a list called repeating questions. Now, dream with me. For the next 7 days, you are going to write down every question that your team asks you more than once. Or if they do only ask it once, think about, are they going to be asking it repeatedly? Now, every question becomes an entry into your system, your playbook, your operations manual. The next thing you're going to do is choose the top 3 areas where things break the most. Now, this is where you really should start to go that level deeper. Not with everything in your business, just where the pain is. Where do the wheels fall off most commonly? That's a great place to start. Now, remember, we're not here trying to build a whole playbook today. You're creating clarity so you can build the right one over time. Now, step number 2 is all about defining your business DNA. This step builds your foundations. Your business DNA tells your team who you are, how you operate, and what matters inside your organization. Now, most businesses hide this behind a generic About Us page, but your DNA should be guiding every decision your team makes. Here's how to build your DNA page. Record a simple 2-minute selfie video explaining your origin story. Transcribe that straight into your operations manual, your playbook. Second thing you're going to do is rewrite your values as behaviors. Now, not integrity, for example. We're going to use something like we communicate delays immediately. Now, you'll notice when we've got behaviors, it really leans into that how we do things around here. And when someone knows what a great behavior is to display within your organization, you're setting them up to win. And the biggest part of building this system is showing people what a win looks like. Now, the next thing you want to do is create a decision filter. 3 questions your team can use when they feel stuck. So, for example, it could include things like, does this align with our mission? Does this protect our client's experience? Does this create efficiency, or are we creating chaos? Write a page called How We Win Here. Describe what wins look like in your business. How do we know that we're winning? The next thing you want to do is build your cultural rhythms page. Think about your weekly rituals, your communications rhythms, your meeting cadences, your Slack, your Teams, your WhatsApp, your Zoom etiquette, and how decisions get made. When your team has this clarity, people stop guessing. And I promise you, getting this down pat will reduce at least 80% of the questions that you get interrupted with. Now, number 3, we're going to choose what to document first. Now, this is where all of you freeze. I know, because I've been there. You think you need to document everything and you think you need to get it perfect. Incorrect, okay? You don't. You start with 3 categories: pain, money, and repeatables. Here's what this looks like when we're playing it out in the real world. So pain, we spoke about this at the start. Mistakes that keep happening. So think about breakdowns in communication, onboarding gaps, client issues that just seem to keep happening. Your goal here is to pick the top 2 pain points and document only those first. Second thing, money. Now, processes that directly affect your revenue. So we're talking your sales workflow, client delivery, customer experience steps. Your task here, pretty straightforward. Create a simple 5-bullet how we deliver checklist. No details yet, just the bones. And the third one was repeatables. So anything your team is touching on a daily, weekly basis. So think about their inboxes, scheduling, client and customer updates. It could be reporting, their daily tasks. Now here, your goal is to document 1 repeatable routine per week for the next month. Now, this is getting exciting because your playbook, your operations manual, is building itself out without you getting overwhelmed. Now, step 4 in this whole process is getting super clear on roles and responsibilities. So, and this is one of the biggest issues that I see out in the wild is people not knowing who's responsible for what, right? And a team can't run the business if they don't know that information. Here's how we get clarity really, really fast. It's called the responsibility matrix. 3 things that each person on your team owns. That's it. That will get you started. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to define decision rights. Who decides, who inputs, who executes. So for example, in our team, if we were creating a video like this to go into a client's training program, who decides what format that video is going to take? Who inputs? So maybe it's me, maybe I'm the talent in the video, then we've got the video editor, we've got the person creating the script. Who executes on those things? Those 3 people again. And then who gets informed? We pass it on to the person building out the learning management system once that part of the process is ready. And of course, we're going to notify the client. So you see how it's really easy to start mapping those out. Another really neat thing you can do here is to write a day in the life page for each role. And best thing to do is to get the person in that role to do that for you. That will remove 90% of the ambiguity. What you'll find, and we find this with every client that we work with, what you think people do and what they actually do can be very far apart. Next step in this part of the process, build a who to ask page so that every question will stop flowing back to you. So for example, on our team, we have Tin, who is an absolute gun at Canva. So I would put in that list, if you have a Canva question, ask Tin. Another important piece of this puzzle is to add a hiring snapshot. So what does success look like in onboarding or the first 90 days of each role? And it's not just like, okay, they're going to learn our systems and processes and they're going to learn our culture and vision and our mission. It's not just those things. It's about where do I want them to be? At what level do I want them to be performing at in those first 90 days? The magic of this is when everyone knows their lane, your business gets to move faster, you get to take a step back and get some of your time back. Now, step number 5 in this whole process is to create your policies hub. When I say the word policies, people get a bit narky at me. They're like, oh, it sounds like you're trying to chain me or stop me from doing things. The thing is, your policies aren't about being restrictive. It's about creating freedom because your expectations of people become predictable. Policies are amazing, so bear with me. Start with these 5 core ones if you haven't got them already. Communication. You assume that your humans know how to communicate in the way you expect them to. No, you need a communication policy. When to use Slack, Zoom, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, whatever it is. When to email, when to meet in person, when to use a Loom to communicate a concept. The next thing, what tools do the team use and for what? No more, how do I edit this video How do I get that transcription? How do I create that new glossy PDF for our client? The next one is deadlines. What done means. How do I know something's done? What does complete mean? Because everybody's going to have a different opinion on that. Also, what does urgent mean? Does urgent mean by the end of the week, or does it mean by close of business? Right? Everyone sees these things differently. So you've got to set the expectation. The next one is security. So think passwords, access, file storage. How do we treat client data? The next one, the final one, this one crucial as well, time off and availability. How do we request time off? What hours of the day should we be available? Do we work fixed hours? Do we work the hours at our leisure? How do handovers work? How do we communicate our availability? All of those things. People, if you don't guide them, if you don't set the guardrails, they will make assumptions. And when your team understands the policies and the procedures of the organization, they'll stop guessing, they'll stop asking you, and we won't end up in these situations where I thought this, you thought that, and there's just a whole big mess. Step 6, processes. This is where we've laid the foundation. Our playbook, our operations manual, our systems become an actual rock solid system. This is where the fun really begins. The simplest way to document a process is just to do a Loom video. Honestly, get your free Loom account if you haven't got one already and talk through the process as you're doing it. Now, your free Loom account is restricted to 5 minutes, so you might only be able to do a high level part of the process. You might need to break it up. But here's what I want you to think about when you're writing an SOP is I want you to use the rule of 5 just to keep it super, super, super simple. No more than 5 steps. Here's the template that I want you to use. Purpose. So what is the purpose of this SOP? This SOP is so that the person starring in the YouTube video knows exactly how to set up for success to be the talent in the YouTube video. The trigger. Every week we release a new YouTube video. The steps. Amanda or the talent sets up their workstation. They grab the script from the script writer. They review it 3 times and then they do a run through. The tools. We're going to need our microphone. We're going to need our video recording software. We're going to need our script software. How do we know we've won? Success check. When we have this, 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 and this. Now, troubleshooting. What do I do if my audio doesn't work, right? All of these things. Remember, you are here when you create an SOP to set up the person, grabs that SOP to do something. You are here to set them up for success. Anything that needs to be clicked should have a screenshot. That's my hot tip. If someone's got to click it, screenshots. With these SOPs, set a review cadence. We tend to review the ones we're using on a daily basis monthly, and we ask questions, what's unclear, what's outdated. What we actually do, we have certain team members within Imaginate who have the authority to make a change to an SOP. So if someone comes along and says, Canva has changed how this happens, awesome, let's update the SOP, let's get it approved, right? Remember here, we're not writing novels, we're giving people on the team clarity. That is the magic. Now, step 7 is to turn this operations manual, this playbook, this system you've created into training. Now, I see so many of you skip this step, but this is where it becomes really powerful when it can train your team. How do we build training without drowning ourselves or the person watching it? Now, you've got those SOPs built out. You started with that one Loom video, but as you start to build them out, create little tiny micro videos for your key SOPs and at the key parts of the process. Short, clear, easy. That's the first step. Then think about how you can organize your SOPs into a role-based onboarding path. So think about sales training, operations training, client onboarding training, administration training, marketing training. Think about all of those paths and where the SOPs would fit along on that path. And what do you need to add in that might be missing from that part? Use comparisons. I love doing this. Here's what great looks like, and here's what we want you to avoid. That is super duper powerful because when you show people the win and the they've shown how to set up for success. Other thing I'll say is create a first week success checklist for your new hires. Where do we want them to be at the end of those first 7 days? Most important workflows, add a quiz in there. Check for knowledge, check that they got it. And really powerful, if they can show you. Here's a hot tip from me, actually. The system shows them. You want them to be able to show someone else in the organization. So the thing that they've just learned, if they can teach it, you know they've got it. Also, let's not forget, we need some kind of welcome page to this playbook, to this operations manual of ours. So our team knows to use the actual system that we've created. So don't forget to create a little hints and tips page on how to get the most out of this beautiful system that you're building. When what you've built trains the team, you stop being the bottleneck, you're more efficient. It's so much easier to spot efficiencies in a business when everything is documented. If everyone's following the system, best practice, we know we're on to a winner. Now, when your business has an operating playbook, it also becomes easier as well. Fewer mistakes get made because we're all singing from the same hymn book. Faster onboarding, smoother operations, and you as a founder, as an operations manager, a general manager, you are going to get so much time back. It's going to be amazing. Now, we've got several ways that we can help you with this. We've got a checklist. If you look in the show notes, we've got a checklist that will help you go through this process. Pause the video, follow along, use the checklist, and keep coming back to it so you can create your own operations manual, playbook, system, just to make your business really sing. The next thing we have is our playbook readiness survey. Now, this I'll put in the show notes as well. This is all about getting a snapshot of where you are right now and where your biggest opportunities are to win. So you can check that out below as well. And always you can book a call with us and just talk through where you're stuck, and we can help you out to understand what your next steps to win would be. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.